Welcome to the Injil Radio. Welcome to the Injil Radio.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. Surah Rahim here. Message of the covenant, breaker of seven seals, judge, crusher, judge, messenger of the covenant. A lot of titles, brothers and sisters. They don't mean anything if I can't get my people home. That's my mission. Those titles are for your, not for my benefit, they're for your benefit. Because those, the person that you need to be looking for to get the exit, to find the exit door when this place blows up with fire, they have to have those titles, really title, real. Not fake ones like Farrakhan, he's anointed. There's no place in scripture say he was anointed. No place in scripture say he was anointed. Nowhere. Everything about him is foul. Aaron, go with the calf. He did all this dirt after Elijah left. Moses left. They don't talk about that part. See, because we read it. All the dirt Aaron did was after Moses left. All he was doing, that way in Moses' presence, he obeyed Moses. He obeyed Elijah while Elijah was present. But he even said he was doubtful of Elijah even. He said he's no good. He said he was even doubtful of Elijah, right? He was doubtful of Elijah in Elijah's presence. He never let on. His doubt even then, so he was hypocrite even then. He said, even Elijah, sitting up there, hypocrite. You can't get away from those things. That came out of his own mouth. Peter, filling the church up with demons. You know, bring devil. I mean, if that's not interpretation, then why is he going to bring devils in Ohio then? That's exactly what it says. You don't fill the church up with demons and devils. Exactly what he's done. Forget about the demon part. He doesn't fill up with devils. He says so. He wants to bring devils in Ohio. That's what Scripture says. It says, on this rock I build my church. That's problematic right there, because you build something on a rock, it has no roots, right? It says the gates of hell will not prevail. The gates are there to keep people in hell. Anything that doesn't prevail means it fails. So that means if the gates of hell will not prevail, that means it will fail. If they fail, it means all the residents of hell runs into the church. That's exactly what he's doing. With demons and devils. He's the chief demon himself. Right? That's exactly what he's doing, brothers and sisters. Exactly. Peter, Aaron, son of addition. He gets up all these titles. Right? And every time they're problematic because they're all lies. They're all lies. I'm getting some of the echo here, brothers and sisters. I'm not sure why. Oh, I think I know why. Yes, they're all lies. All lies. So you're told that the person is like, when the police show up, you want to see a badge. Because how do you know the police are pretending? If they're the police, they do all kinds of things to you. So they give you clear signs. Say, Antichrist. I mean, if you understand mathematics, you understand that one. Because the Antichrist come on the being, it means there had to be a Christ to have an Antichrist. That's the balance. So it means the Christ would be, right? He would come he'd be conceived the same time Antichrist would proceed. 1948. Okay? Breaking the seals says no one could do that. Not in the heavens, earth, on the earth. As in, do you know anyone who's broken the seals, claim has broken them? If they have, I'm explaining what it means. There's just a couple of things. He'll be teaching the covenant. He'll be talking about the message of the covenant. Did you ever hear anything about the message of the covenant before 2 months not telling you about it? Nobody was talking about the covenant. Elijah talked about it to some extent, but no one else did. When Elijah told Martin Luther King about it, he went out and talked about it and he was dead the next day because they told him don't talk about it. The preachers ain't talking about it. You tried to be like it in the past. Chapter 20, that's European history. So we talking about the covenant. It says, suddenly come to Elijah's temple. It'll clean up a mess. Whose mess? Clean up Elijah's mess? It'll clean up somebody between him and Elijah. He'd be Joshua. And that Farrakhan claim he's Moses, he's Aaron and Joshua. All these different things, brothers and sisters. And a lot more. Okay? And then you know there's a third person in Malachi. Someone who's robbing this nation. Who? Elijah Muhammad didn't rob the nation. You sure can't say I'm robbing because I ain't take a penny from you. I've never asked you for a penny. So who's robbing the nation hasn't produced this damn thing for 8 years? Farrakhan. That's where those titles come from, brothers and sisters. So don't get lost in their titles. Because I'm not here to impress you with titles. Or to get you to worship. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to get you home. Those titles are for your benefit. So you have a clear sign. You will not be deceived by anyone. Be not deceived. Those days will not come unless the falling away come first. That's another thing Farrakhan lying about. He said, oh, because he was exposed in the synagogue of Satan, now everybody's falling away. It says it's very clearly, do not be deceived. It said the falling away will come first. He said, no, it comes second. Because now he's revealing who's, see, don't be deceived. So if somebody tell you, that means they're deceiving you. I mean, it's how clear as that. So don't be dismayed, brothers and sisters. See, because the people that's buying into that, they're either demons, agents, well, the agents, you know, they did for a whole different reason, or the idiots. We don't want either one of them. No, any one of them. So I'm not dismayed about that. The problem is that you got those people like Eric and all these other clowns, Silas and all these other clowns, right? That's blocking this light. It says people sit in dark see the great light, right? But they sort of in darkness, sort of very troubling times. And the time when they had to flee for their lives. And says a lot of them get lost because of that reason, lack of knowledge, because someone's blocking the knowledge, not because they resisted knowledge. See, we need to get things straight, brothers and sisters, because when you go out and put information out there that's incorrect, you're causing harm. You're part of the problem of our people having lack of knowledge, because the knowledge you're giving them is red. So they receive it, but it's bad knowledge. So it's just as good, it's just the same as lack of knowledge. Because lack of good knowledge, because you feeling bad, and then you think that's what Farrakhan's doing. They give them information that's bad, and think they got something. If you don't get it straight, you need to not say nothing at all. I'm really going to deal with this very stringently soon, right? Lack of knowledge does not mean that people resisted knowledge. That don't mean that. It's a whole different issue altogether. You gotta have knowledge of something before you can resist it. How you just gonna resist? Oh, I don't want that cake. You don't know what the cake is. Unless you just don't want cake, but then you have to realize it's a cake. You have to have knowledge of what you're resisting to resist it. I mean, how simple is that? So it's not lack of knowledge. In other cases, they have lack of knowledge because they're resisting. No, they have knowledge. They resisted the knowledge that they're giving. So they have it, they just don't want it, reject it. That's the difference between not having it all. So when people say, that means they clearly understand this message. So there's different ways you find someone understands something, like you take a child, right? Oh, you understand multiplication? Yeah, I understand multiplication. Right? How much is 3 times 5? 15. How much 5 times 3? You don't understand multiplication. They're memorizing things. See? Because one teacher teaches multiplication tables, right? They don't need the teaching multiplication table. It goes up at 10 times 10. I guess that's the most, right? So if you have how much is 10 times 800, that's not the multiplication table. They say, hey, that's quick, 8,000. Because they understand the multiplication. See? But they, oh, they got to go to calc. They don't understand multiplication. And I know that, I know for a fact that nobody's up even to now understands this message. They say they don't understand it. If you understand, you start producing. Is that every tree that's not produced, it will cut down. You start producing. You know, if you're apple tree, you produce apples. If you're not producing anything, that means you're sterile. You're sterile. I mean, I got the angel to work with. I already told you about that. I feel like I got back into it, but if I got the angel, why would I be teaching the Quran? If I understand the angel, I mean, that's my book, that's what I work with, right? Why would I be teaching Mr. BLACKMAN? Why would I be teaching the lesson? I mean, I can refer to them, but that's my book. I should be teaching the angel. That's the book that's required to get the job done. You know, you fix a car, you got a manual. Use the manual for that car. You don't get a manual for a truck. Use a manual for that car. And we got the manual that's for our people's deliverance. But we use all the other stuff that ain't gonna work. The manual for our people's resistance, our people, the manual for our people's survival, right? To survive, to win, to overcome. That's the angel. The manual for them that fails and have to get it right. What we call a backup, a renewal. What do you call it? In with school, you have to get a makeup. You get a makeup, right? Right. See. There's other books. 7 thunders, 7 churches, rules. See? That is the man that'll get them out of there. If you're not teaching that man, hey man, I'm working on this BMW, man. Oh, wait, here take this manual for a Volkswagen Beetle. It's a car, ain't it? No, yeah, it may be a car. It's not the manual for his car. And if you ain't giving me the manual for that car, then you give me something I don't need. And if you ain't teaching those books, then you ain't teaching anything. I have to be very firm on this. Because ultimately it's my responsibility. I can't say, oh, this person, that person, I can't do that. It's my responsibility. I shouldn't accept it. I didn't accept it because I was looking for the rewards. Like I said, I was just curious about solving the puzzle. That's where I saw it. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But once I realized, I said, okay, well, I'm going to do it, so I ain't going to do it. If I do it, I ain't going to do it half-assed. I don't do anything half-assed. Right? So I went for it. And I've had a lot of people come, some people agents. Well, I've had agents come in, and some firearms people come in, pretending they was with this. I even had a couple of silent people. Some of them I see coming a mile away. Eventually they expose themselves. Some of them sit around doing nothing and they think, well, that's on them. It's not going to stop me. And I'm going to eliminate all distractions, all distractions. Because it's the hindrance. Because nobody understands what this is all about. No one I've talked to yet since I've been doing this has any idea. He's like Elijah Muhammad told his brother, you have no idea what you're up against. I haven't met anyone has any idea what's about to happen here, what they're up against here. They have no idea. No matter I talk and they think, they don't know. They have no idea. If they did, they probably have a heart attack. They had any idea what's about to happen here. And most of them are going to be right in the middle of it, go right to a tribulation. Because they don't know. If they knew, they'd be doing what they need to do to make sure they don't go to tribulation. But they ain't doing it. They ain't putting the work in. Look what I had to do. I got 30 years of work in to get this. But once I realized what was going on, I only had a couple of options here. Just leave, commit suicide, or go down to the wire. See? Commit suicide because you don't want to be caught up in this naked. You don't want to be caught up in it naked. That's commit suicide. Getting the hell out of here is forsaking my people. Just get the hell out of here. So I said, I know what the hell is going on. I could have did that too. Who's going to do anything to me? They don't tell me, they can't reward me anything because I ain't asked for a reward anyway. I'm not expecting any reward. I'm not getting any reward out of this. I'm not expecting any reward. I mean, I could get a reward. It tells you right there, Ancient Days, he didn't want a reward. He did the work, but he gave it to a master, gave away the master from Muhammad. He did the work, but he gave away the master from Muhammad because he says, respect him, he's the king. He's the God. I'm not looking for anything out of this. So why am I doing it? I'm doing my people. And most of them hate me anyway. My family hates me. That's what it's said, but that's called sacrificial. You understand when they say sacrificial lamb? Because lamb, we understand, if you understand the way it works, you have to get a pure lamb. For your sin, you have to sacrifice it. To atone for your sins and everything else. You have to get pure. That's what the whole thing about, the blood of Jesus and all that kind of stuff. That's what it's all about. They got it all wrong. See? The lamb, that's what I call the lamb. He had to be sacrificed, a pure lamb. There'd be somebody pure, right? See? Unblemished. Otherwise, it wasn't worth it. Because, in other words, if you're going to sacrifice something, you got to sacrifice something meaningful, right? You want to really sacrifice a total. You have to sacrifice your best, your very best to show to God that you're sorry, whatever the case may be, right? That's why you got to get the best, the lamb. That's why his father had to give his son. That's why Suleiman, David's cast as the father, matched by Muhammad, and Suleiman's cast as his son. He said he gave up his son. Because Master Muhammad could took me out here anytime he wanted to. He knows who I am. He could have took me out here a long time ago. To sacrifice his son, right? To save his people. And his son willingly did it. He didn't want to do it, but he willingly did it. He said, if you read the crucifixion, he said, man, wow, can I pass on somebody else? And he wasn't expecting a reward for it. Nothing. That's a pure sacrifice. I'm sacrificing. I ain't asked for anything, no reward. Farrakhan, he wants money, he wants houses and all that kind of stuff. I didn't ask for anything. Everything I got, I give myself. I work for what I get. I have my own business and everything, I gave up all that to do this. Mm-hmm. Not that all of that, you understand what I'm saying? So it did. Pure sacrifice. And it says no one appreciated it. That's why I said on the course, no, they don't know what they're doing. I'm giving my life for them. I ain't asking anything for it. I'm doing it for them. I ain't doing it for me. And they want to kill me because I'm trying to save them. It's like, you go, a person's drowning, and you go out and try to, they can't swim, you got to try to save them, they're drowning you too. They don't realize, they just got to relax. You want to bring them in, but they fighting in there, both of you end up getting drowned. Sacrificial lamb. And nobody understands. But I can't allow any distractions, I can't. Not anymore. I've had a lot of distractions, and I know they don't understand. I ain't knocking anybody, I know they don't understand. I can tell. You can tell by the actions and things they say, they don't understand. They haven't a clue. That's what tribulation's for. To make you understand. To understand what the devil really is, because you're going to see him up close and personal. So you can allow us kind of forgotten. Over here with 100 years or maybe not 140, 50 years, right? The devil's in there stickers. In other words, he in the background now, right? It's obviously, hitting you with a pitchfork, directly. So you kind of think everything's okay. Everything's okay. They still just as dangerous as they ever been. So now we got lackadaisical and think, oh man, no. Because they got planned for you. That's what we're going to talk about, brother and sister Snare. What they got planned for you, you can't even imagine. And that's just on top of all the other stuff that's about to hit here. You'll be right in the middle of. And I could talk until I turn green, orange, and yellow. And nobody understands, no one. I can tell. I don't know what else to do to get them to understand. Because if they did, right, they would have a whole different attitude. Yeah. Whole different attitude. Mm-hmm. A lot closer to my attitude because no one really understands what I've been going through because I don't go out and talk about it. I ain't got time to talk about it. All the crap that I've been through in the last 30 years because this message that I didn't have to go through to get this mess out to you because I got enough to get the hell out of here. I don't need to be here. I'm telling you to get the hell out. Telling you, get the hell out. That's a mercy. See, that's a mercy. I'm telling you, get the hell out of here. But you ain't listening. It says time unprecedented trouble. I don't think people understand what that means, unprecedented. Unprecedented relative to what? Oh, my brothers and sisters, I got a little issue here. Unprecedented relative to what? I got my backup system here, bro. Get it a little bit. You have a backup system here, brothers and sisters, and I'll make sure it's backing up correctly. There you go, that's a little better. All right? For a backup system, it doesn't back up, right? So I was saying, right? Have wrong idea about everything. The Quran talks about you think you are not before you go through all the Quran says, you think you're in the garden, not going through all people before you, right? There was a press and afflict and everything else until it got so bad that the messenger, as well as the people, says when will help Allah come? And Allah says, but the help of Allah is nigh. Just unpack that. Do we unpack these things? Think about it. Now that's what it says. Think you enter the garden unless you go through hell before. You had to go through trials and tribulation, everything, be afflicted, everything else. It says right in the Quran, right? Now, this time unprecedented trouble, this is the worst ever, but the paradise is going to be the greatest ever. Don't you think it's going to be the worst thing you have to go through to get there? Do you think these things true? Do we think these things true? We don't. They've really dumbed down our people. And a lot of them think, some people, they actually think that they are dumb. So they're even trying to, like I said, you're taking, some people would rather shovel up and lift up a ton of shit rather than lift up 1 pound book and read it. I don't want to read no books. Yeah. Even if they are, all these distractions. Oh, it's so good to us now. You know what a snare is? You have to put bait. It's like a mouse trap. You put bait. Something that the mouse like. And when he goes for it, boom, we got him. So you know what they got you, sports and that kind of stuff. And you're going for it. Because you ain't paying attention to what's around you. And you're walking right into a snare. It says it will come to you as a snare. I'm telling you all about it. You got foul. No, man, don't listen to that, man. Don't listen to him. He's foul. He's foul. He's vile. Look at his language. See? They like him because, well, I don't know why they say that to my, because that's when you saw Farrakhan. I see how good he looks, how nice he looks. And I said, what attracted me because my ain't got me my personality. I don't have a personality. You know, I tell people if you knew me up close and personal, you wouldn't like me. I'm not a likable person. I don't try to be. I'm just me, right? And I don't like to be bothered. These distractions are really hard on me. That's why when I said, why do they give the Quran, one of the most beautiful written books in this whole, right? It's beautiful. The grammar, everything is beautiful. I know a little bit, enough for average to know that. It's not like the Injil's complex, puzzle. Not the Quran. Yet a person that they give it to is a person illiterate. Can't read, all right. So it sounds like you find a person that's totally opposite of what you're trying to do, the job you got to do, and that's the one you give it to. Same thing Elijah. Elijah could barely talk. See? That's why he wanted somebody to help him. So it seems like, brothers and sisters. So I'm the most unlikely person to do this message. Because I don't want to be dealing with people. I definitely look for any followers. Right? And I've been showing a lot of patience the last few years, but I'm not a patient person. Far from it. I don't like to waste time. I like to get things done. Anybody knows me, I don't waste time. Suddenly, if I go get it done, I wait till tomorrow. I don't do anything half-ass. That's how I do. I go do it. I keep my word no matter what. And I don't put on any pretense. Since I'm perfect and all that kind of stuff. If I make a mistake, I made it. It's on me. I ain't blaming anybody for it. If I do have to make amends, because that wasn't my intention, but I can't get by way saying, well, I'm sorry. I don't never use that word anyway. Right? That's a sorry word. Right? But once I realize that, hey, I can't apologize. That's word. That's devils. See, they got words. They do something. Man, I'm sorry. Hey, they put you in a wheelchair here, and the rest of your life. No, I'm sorry. That solves that problem. That's what a cheap way of getting away from stuff. That's another one of their tricks. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. So what? That get me out of this wheelchair? Right? That give me my leg back? You keep your sorry. I said I was sorry. That's like mislead, right? Take from you and give you nothing back. So give your word. And that's supposed to, they could have $1 million of damage, right? But they give your word back. Oh, I'm sorry. I stole $1 million from you. And that's supposed to absolve them of that. That's that bullshit. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's the part series I just did. So I just went over that, right? I'm going to I might refer to that a little bit. Oops. Brothers and sisters, let me change something here. Get out. Now you can read this on your leisure. It's chapter 18. It shows you that you wasn't supposed to see this message to get out until after America had fallen, the war took place. But I'm giving you a heads up, a mercy. And what I'm going to talk about today is, Master Father, I'm going to give you a big mercy. Because everybody trying to save your ass. See? Because the promise is made to you. We know the condition you are. We're not blaming you. We not blaming you, brothers and sisters. We ain't mad at you. We know this condition you would be in. That's why I say, why did they send me to get me to do this? I don't know. I guess I'm the only one willing to do it, but I'm the most unlikely person to do it. Especially for the sisters. I've caught a number of hell from sisters from day one up to now. Yet I'm the greatest advocate. And I would tear this whole plan apart to get my sisters home. Anybody ever around my sisters, they're going to have trouble with me. If they want to go home, they're going home. I don't hear what nobody says. Oh, I don't give a damn what nobody says. Oh, shit, I don't hear it. They want to go home, they're going home. Right? First class, not the scenic route. Oh, man, they went, I don't care. She was out there, man, you was teaching shot at private. I don't care. She want to go home. She's original. She's going home. Case closed. He said, why he like that, man? All that trouble here with all the divorces and all the stuff they have done to him, threw him in prison, jail, and everything else. Because I ain't stupid. I know they mad. They should be mad. Now, it's one, they still love us. They do. That shows how good a heart they got. After all they went through with these devils and then with us on top of it, no protection, forced to do all things way beyond what they did to us. And we could still by and could do anything. And now we're gonna sit down and judge them and critic. Like, man, you better get up out of my face with that one. They're going home, period. I don't hear nothing. They ain't ready. They're gonna make it. Because we go home. Once you get home, I put an umbrella around them. You know what a dam is? A dam is something, right? You block a river. That's pressure. Because that's what it is. The river's building up pressure against the dam. The dam has to be strong enough to resist that pressure. Once it gets stronger than the pressure, it breaks the dam down and water flows through, right? So I said, go ahead. They ain't gonna be ready for that pressure hereafter. I'm gonna put a dam around them, circle them a dam around them. Right, until they're strong enough to remove the dam and then they can survive. So they're going home. I don't want to hear about they ain't ready. How the hell are they going to be ready? They're taking care of your ass, wiping your behind, nursing you. How the hell are they going to be ready? After all the shit they went through, excuse me, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. Because that's what it is. I'm going to call it what it is. They didn't go through manure. They went through shit. Worse than that. They had to get new words. After all they went through, they got a right to be mad. You take it out on me, but because I ain't there. But hey, I caught it. Catch it. We're going home. So if I can say it, then you got nothing in your mouth to say, nothing, zero. If I can say it, because if you go look at my history, I don't even talk about it. If you took my sister's boy, you'd be crying. I don't even talk about it, how bad it's been. And part of it, me too, because, right, I'm not I'm not one of the fluffy brothers, right, trying to get in touch with my female with the instinct, whatever you call it. I ain't one of them, so that doesn't help either. Because, they want that, and I ain't about that, right, and I ain't trying to make no man out of them either. No. So I'm the most unlikely person. So I can stand for these sisters like that. Right? Hey, total, unconditional. Only way it's two things. Well, the only way they can show up, they show up with a devil in arm, then I ain't gonna be able to save from that one. Right? Because you don't have to do that now. If you're doing that, then you pull that to yourself. I'm not gonna stand for that one. See, there's not the same thing as you out there prostituting and prostituting, because if you gotta take care of children, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. You trying to take care of the kids, right? You ain't doing anything. You didn't take care of them. You didn't help them. You gave them to them, then you took off. Ain't the same thing as marrying one, loving them, and all that kind of. That's a whole different issue altogether. They come like that. And then another thing too, they disobedient to their parents. That's a hard call there. That's one thing I just have a big problem with that one. I mean, you can disagree with your parents, and you don't have to necessarily obey them, but to be disrespectful to them. With that one, brothers and sisters, we'll see about that one. But in other cases, hey, it's unconditional. I'm always say that. So, you're here last. I'm the last person you're gonna hear. You don't. Well, how should I say that? You ain't gonna hear anybody out there saying what I'm saying, because I'm the person. I'm not gonna take and put any fear in our sisters. Period. I just ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. They've been under fear, total fear. Remember, sisters, they're more susceptible to fear than we are. So we was fearful of the devil for 500 years, so much fearful that they would butt break us and everything else. How much do you think these sisters was under? How much fear did they was under? Total terror. We was terrorized, and they more susceptible to terror than we are. More susceptible to fear than we are. And now we're going to sit and knock them and beat them. I don't beat on women. I've been accused of it. I don't do it because they got liars out there. That's one way they can get in court and say, yeah, man, it was, man, it's a lie. I mean, I've been lied on everything else. Right? These sisters are tough. Right? But some of this was demons. So I ain't putting on all the sisters. See? Some of I didn't realize they were demons until I knew something was wrong. So some was demons. The worst of it came from the demons. So it ain't on the sisters. See? But I had a couple of demons. Right? Because they'll come in, yeah, man, I'm down with Elijah. I'm down with all that. And they ain't down with any of that. See? So let me move on, brothers and sisters. Let me say this last thing about that. When the mess was around, we had a big problem because these demons, they knew they couldn't get dead demon men to do anything. They was out there doing nothing. They was in the church. And so what they did, so they sort of Elijah's wife, so they was taking care of business. I know because I was there. I was there between 7 and 75, so I was in Chicago. I knew what I'm talking about. So they come in here pretending they MGT. Just get the brother out, because they figure, hey, I get one of them, man. He's going to take care of business. He's going to take care of me and all that kind of stuff. They wanted him. They didn't want what he was. They didn't want Elijah Muhammad. They didn't want none of that. They wanted him. So they figured, get him out. And if he didn't go along with the program, see, because it's happened to me too. They get pregnant. Purposely, that big tribe to get pregnant. And then use the child. And we had a problem with that. Elijah Muhammad had to speak on it. Because what happened is that they would say, okay, if you don't, listen to me, I'm going to take the child. You don't do what I say to do. And they wanted to pull him out into the church. You better get out of that stuff, come over here. So you didn't realize Islam is straight, that the vibrations and the frequency that woke the brother up, they don't take him down to lower frequency, but expect him to do the same thing. See, doing lower frequency, but expect him to do the same thing. And some brothers would go for it because for their child. I went through a lot of hoops because of my children, but I wasn't going like that far. Nothing was going to take me away from Elijah Muhammad. Nothing, zero. I was homeless and everything else. I still stuck with it. Yes, I was home for 6 months while Elijah Muhammad was president. And nobody gave me a damn thing that I knew that I go and ask anybody for anything. I worked my way out and got back in. I was a first class FOI manager at Mom Street newspaper on the third shift. I was a third shift foreman. And I was in my 20s. 1970, I was 21 years old. And that's this part, I was 26. Just turned 26. Young man. That's what they would do. And so the brother, well, now his child, gonna pull his child into the church, and man, that in those days, man, you just, wow, that was, and that's the stuff they was doing. They didn't want to be MGT. They didn't want to come in and pull the brothers out. That's what it was doing. See, and so consequently, then they had a big divorce thing. So some brothers said, what they're doing, I'm not sure how all this connects up, work out. I'm just telling you what happened, right? I'm not going through all the math and the science of it, but a lot of them was running down to Mexico because they get, I think, one overnight divorce. And Mexico found out about it. I said, no, brother, you can't do that. I wouldn't, I didn't disagree with the Mexico on that one because I sympathize with those brothers. They wanted, the Mexico said, no, you can't do that. because I think he was looking out for sister. What? I'm not sure exactly why he said that. So he started going and getting divorced like that, because back then they had no fault. They didn't have no fault divorce. You couldn't easily get a divorce. Anyway, brothers, let's move on. This chapter 18 here. Read at your leisure. We'll talk about this snare, brothers and sisters. Now, I've been talking about a lot of things over 30 years, especially the last couple of years. And I'm trying to bring everything in respect of home. See? Now, it said Suleiman, he revealed things. I talked about this yesterday. He said he revealed things hidden from the foundation of the world. And I get back to this again. Because the knowledge of pressure, in the way I'm talking about it, the quality of it because, we're separated. Even the separation process, how the women came into existence, that was hidden from the female too. Even up until Elijah's time, because he says, well, there was the God, then he looked inside and pulled the female out of it. It didn't work like that. The Quran says from one being we all came, but if you ask yourself, if there's one being, how that being reproduce itself? As soon as he being created, he right away brought the female out. So that's how. Then he wasn't. In other words, just that one being, and then he pulled the female out, and then it started reproducing. I mean, that was hidden. All these things was hidden from the female, because when you had the male and female mind, it was like one mind. It just right. But what we call the male mind right now, right, that dominated. It was the dominant perspective of the mind. Mind had total perspective, but it was dominant. And so when we decided to split in two parts, right, it was the dominant side that made that decision, and then put a lot of burden on the female side. That's another story, but I don't go into that. But a lot of things was hidden because we wanted to maintain dominance. And they thought if they just let the female full knowledge, and she wouldn't know. Plus, she outnumbered the males. That's another story altogether. I talk about the Crescent Wars. They still dominate. They still outnumber us today. And so they said, well, they kept women. That's what you see in Sunnism. They keep women even over there, right? In fact, I'm not sure about it right now, but in the past, right, they would forbid even read the Quran. They didn't want her to read it because they were fearful of the woman. If they weren't fearful, why would they make those restrictions? Why would they forbid them? Afghanistan, right? They didn't have any education, anything. Didn't read it right. Fear, and this was hidden all the way. And now I'm revealing it. And I'm showing the females, right, to understand the pressure so they can take control and not be under domination anymore. Because we don't want them there. I explained, I'm not going into detail about this, right? So now they're going to reach perfection, because before they could never be perfect because we were suppressing them with our ideas what women should be. How does that make any sense? Our idea of what women should be. How do we get an idea how a woman should be? How do we even have an idea how a woman should be? You see that? They went for 72 years. Our idea, think about that. Just think about it. Our idea of what a woman should be. And so we put that on for them. And then we get mad because we ain't getting what we think we should be getting from a woman, but you already suppress her ability to do it. And so that comes to screeching halt. That's one of the things. There's other things too. That's what I was talking about. And it says he spoke more in parables. He was really revealing parables, because if he kept speaking in parables, the stuff would still be hidden, wouldn't it? Proclaiming things that was hidden. So if he's still speaking parables, it still remain hidden, wouldn't they? So he can't read it that way. It seems that way, but it can't, because he still spoke in parables. I mean, it's still hidden. But it says he proclaiming things. That means he explaining things was hidden. So how can you do it in the parables? Let's move on, Bill says this. Okay, that's your great tribulation, such as since the beginning of the world, this time nor shall ever be. 7 days be shortened. There should be no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days be shortened. And I told this yesterday, I'm going into more detail today, because it's talking about not all flesh on the planet. It's talking about ours, our flesh, because it's referred directly to the elect. So why just because the elect? Because it's our flesh, none of us would be, and we'll see in the next screen here. I'm talking about, because you're reading all wrong. You think they're gonna wipe out the whole planet? It's like right now, right? You say, okay, the Europeans, that's what this thing. But see, now it's coming out open, so I can talk about them open. Because before, like our spiritual theory, but now China is accusing America of developing DNA weapons to destroy their citizens. We ain't destroying Caucasians. Why are they going? Caucasians not going to build a weapon that's going to destroy Caucasians? That don't make any sense. So they're building it still other than Caucasians. That's us. But they don't want to say it that way because they don't want the public to know. Because that's what China told them. So yeah, because that's what it meant. You want to keep building blacks, and then they turn back and say, "Well, you build one to get those people what they call I can't think of the Muslims over there, the Chinese Muslims." Hold on, brothers and sisters, for a minute. A little distracted. I'll be back in a minute. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. So now this we need to pay close attention to this, brothers and sisters. I said you have no idea what you're up against, what they're planning. It says it will come upon you as a snare. They're talking about you. Okay? Those who dwell upon the earth. You need to understand, understand what that means. You don't mean everybody. They will come as a snare on you. But they got a plan for you. Those days had to be shortened, or none of you would be left alive. Because they had a plan to eradicate you all together. Let's go into it and see if we can make sense of it, brothers and sisters. Look at this next verse here. Now you got to put these things together. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more remembered. See, all this is conspiracy. See, because first of all, false Israel is not Israel. It's a hint near because of the way the name is spelled. I'm not going there, brothers and sisters. But they were set up in 1948 specifically deceive the world who Israel is. Because they're already a nation. So how they going to cut them off from being a nation when they're already a nation? Coming from being a nation. Because we're the ones being cut off from being a nation. Because we're not a nation here. I'm not saying we're a nation, but you understand what he's talking about, because we're not a nation. A nation is a sovereign country, right? You sovereign, you obey your own laws, you have your own land. We're not a nation. We belong to a nation, we're members of a nation, but we're not a nation. We're not a nation. And they're trying to prevent us from ever becoming a nation. It tells you that. I'm not going to all the scriptures, but you go in there, it tells you that. It says, let's be deal shrewdly with them. See? Keep them coming together. See? Because when you see the four winds, right, and Ezekiel, it said they came together when the four winds blew. That means they wasn't together yet. They weren't a nation yet. They come together as one strong army. Then they're together. But they're not together right now. We're not a nation. And they're trying to make sure it never happens. That's it. Look, it compares to what rest. So, right, be no more. That means no flesh will be alive. We'll be all gone. See? So there is be no more remembrance. That means totally eradicated. Otherwise, if there's people still around, then you're not, right? Then there'll be remembrance. They don't want to be remembered at all. And zero. No remembrance. You understand, brothers and sisters? So that's what we're going to talk about here. So now I put this together, brothers and sisters. This is the angel key. Right? Now I didn't go and put all the correct symbol, that kind of stuff, right? I put just general, right? But to make the point I'm trying to make here. Now, what you see right and left, this goes back to Adam and Eve's story. Now, Adam and Eve's story, right? You understand? That's their plan. That's it. Those days are cut short. That means their plan to eradicate us, destroy us, right, was cut short. For the elect's sake, so they wouldn't be eradicated. That's what it's talking about, right? So somebody had to cut that short. Cut those days short. Stop that plan from taking effect. Because the plan was to eradicate us. All flesh. All our flesh. Total eradication. Right? It gives you a hint right there in chapter 12. It said, the woman stood by, the dragon stood by to devour a woman soon, the child soon was born. It says, when the nation was born in the day, that's what I'm talking about. That was the nation. It said, when the nation was born, that's the child. When the nation was born in the day, we heard such that the dragon stood there to devour a child soon was born. Soon as the nation was born, was there to devour it, destroy it. Soon as born. That's the child in that situation. But was snatched away. Had been snatched away for a dragon could get it. When the nation be born in a day, that means it wasn't a nation yet. Until you're born. According to them, you're not a person until you're born. So if we had to be born, that means it wasn't a nation yet. And they try to prevent it from being a nation. See? Understand that. Trying to connect all things together, brothers and sisters. So here you go. Now, American Britain, that's Adam and Eve. So I didn't put all the symbols and everything in there. I'm just explaining to you. American Britain's Adam and Eve. And they are in heaven. See, right there, in chapter 9, it's called mid-heaven, because the earth represents European countries, right? So at four corners of the earth represents America, Europe, Russia, and Britain. God make God, American Britain. Okay? And the Shia, right? The Syria and Iran, they represent mid-heaven. They're between the heavens and the earth. But in this situation, right, they've been cast down, I guess, in chapter 11. So I'm just giving you where we are. So this is where, basically, where we are in time right now. It gets a little more complicated than this, but I'm just talking in general. So you understand. So when I come back and say, hey, man, exactly where you No, I'm giving you this way to understand, so you can make it simple, simplistic, because they talk about, the signs and hell, kind of stuff. I'm not going into that kind of detail. I'm trying to keep it simple so you understand the principle, the idea what's going on here. Okay. So America, Britain, and false they control the heavens right now. That's why they're war in heaven. They had to be kicked out. It tells you heaven is men. It says, from the days of John, evil men take the kingdom of heaven by force. Wait a minute, hold it. If the kingdom of heaven is way out there, you say, beyond sun, moon, and stars, place you go after you die, right? In the 12th dimension, and how did men take it by force? How did evil men take it by force? Because it's talking about the Middle East. Right? So that's what it's talking about here. Okay. So pretty much this is where we are in time. Right? The Shia, they're under control of America, Britain, and false Israel. False Israel, bombing Syria. Yeah, the fifth seal understand that. Bombing Syria constantly. Then they total conflict with Iran and everything else, right? Okay. So now, so both of them the same, right? Now on the left, that's the one on the left, that's going to be their plan. And on the right, going to be Master Farmer's plan. From this point on. So on the left is their plan right now. Their plan to do something, Master Farmer has to do something equal. But he's going to short circuit their plan. Okay? Now see, their plan was, I said demon saint, that's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. See, I'm gonna do another one when I actually put all the details. See, I push this together very quickly, get all the actual symbols and everything. But I don't want to waste. I want to get this to you quickly, brothers and sisters, because I don't think putting that in there is going to change the effectiveness of my communication. So I'm just telling you. So knowledge of good, knowledge of evil. Knowledge of good is what Elijah Muhammad taught. Knowledge of evil is these preachers teaching. With their fake Jesus, masquerading as an angel of God, angel of good, angel of light. So it says that they were. It says that they was told that they do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It means consume it, take it out of existence, right? We eat, take it out of existence, right? So the day you do it, you will die. So it's telling us, but it says someone told them, hey, man, oh, you can do that. Say, I'm getting some details, I'm getting some complex stuff here. See, so I know I'm going to lose a whole lot here, but I'm putting it out there, you're going to catch it in a few more days. So who's the serpent? We know the serpent represents an African country. See? And that'd be Africans riding that white horse. You don't see him now because he's down, right? See? I'm not sure all the details now, because actually he would be up there at this point, but I don't know now at this point. He used to be president of the United States. He's a god, because America is God. You have to read chapter 20 for that. I'll see how here I go again. I don't want to go too much detail. The problem is, when you understand the nature of God, God is also a country, is also a person like a president who rule the country. So that would make Obama a god, but he's also African. And what European country is run by African? Only America. That's what I said. I told about this 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I didn't know his name, but I knew it would be an African, that would be president. Elijah Muhammad even says, but he went a little further. He said the last president of the United States would be African. Or be a black man. He said he's an African black man. So it said, but that means take out, if you eat, take out existence. So they told me they did not do that. See? But they did anyway. That's their plan. So they did it, right? See? That means they attack. This is their DNA thing. Their plan, it was this attack. Eradicate us with this DNA weapon they got, right? That just singles out us. That's what it's talking about here. Right? They was planning on doing that. That's their plan on doing right now. And they said, the serpent gave them the go-ahead to do it. And serpent, that's Obama. So you don't understand this. He's president. Because He wants you destroyed. That gets back to that last war between the bear and the lion. But he wants to do it here. Because at some point you're going to have a war. He wants to destroy you right here in the cradle. See, he's part of the dragon, part of the dragon tail. He wants to destroy you right here in the cradle. Before you was born. Because see, you're not born till the four winds blow. And the winds hasn't blown yet. So he wanted to get you before you become a nation. So he told me, yeah. Because he knew. He knew his bills were. He said, yeah, use on him. He said, well, he get me too. Really? He get, oh, go ahead. But the weapon's isolated here. He didn't have to be here when the weapon exposed. He gave him to go ahead and do it. He said, why would he give him? You understand, have said about the war between the lion and the goat. I mean, lion and the bear. To understand this. So some things I can't talk to you about because I've been telling them, and some things that's too advanced you wouldn't understand anyway. But those that's been paying attention to Injil at all, they might understand this. Understand why that would, because I told them, I talked about this a while back about having these story. But I never told them why that devil, right? Why the serpent would give him okay to do it. I never told him that. Why would he give him okay to do it? Because the serpent said, he told me, yeah, you go ahead, y'all go ahead and do it. But now you know why, if you understand. Now I can tell you, because now they talking about high levels, but also I can tell you now, because I already explained you the story about the bear and the lion. Because that's his objective. And so here, he's, right, because that's the same Jay. He says, well, get him out, get him before they even be born. Otherwise, I got to fight him after they are born. That's what it's saying right here. And so they go and do it. That's what they plan to do it. And he's on board with that plan. Because he encouraged them to do it. Remember, he was present, and they was designing this according to the angel here, right? That they was designing this while he was in the presidency. And one ironic things about it is that when he became president, these people got paranoid and said, hey man, they're going to take over the country, right? So they started designing that weapon because of that. Take him out too. And it amazed me. He found out about it and said, yeah, go for it. They said, well, why would he go for it, right? Because that whole idea was, but they said when he became president, they said, man, he's going to take over the country. That's the irony of it. Because they would think they were developing this weapon, Pentagon's weapon to give it all y'all, him too. And he found out about it and said, no, go for it. So why don't we go for it? Because he wants you going too. He wants you going too. I talk about that in the dragon, in the locust war, in demon war. They think that he come to save them. You know, he don't come to save them. He come to save the Levites that was fighting. He comes, no, you want to get rid of you too. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's that's going on there. That was their plan. See, they do that. Right? Eradicate their DNA weapon. See? So what actually happens though? Let's go to the next one. What actually happens? Remember, they had to be shortened to prevent them from doing it. So it happened on the right? Because see, they was going to take, look on them, they would do it, and then they was going to take out, use false Israel, take out Iran and Syria, right? Once they got rid of us, that was, right? And this is a war that was planned, take out us. There's also going to be a war with Europe and China. All this was planned. See, because that's why you say, why do people want war? Why all of a sudden they want war? Say they really want a war. They do. They don't want a nuclear war. They want a conventional war. That gets Biden and said, throw them into the river. That's another story together. But there's so much I can tell you that to support what I'm saying here. I don't want to go down those rabbit holes because we get so deep you can't get back. See, this is a war. I told you there was a plan of war. And one of the first casualties would be us. Because if they did that, they was going to have trouble with the rest of the world anyway. The rest of the world didn't care about us either way, but they was going to use that. Say, see how y'all, But what happens? The war starts. Abraham goes to war in heaven first, before they could do it. So how does he cut the day short? Because they can still do it, right? Once they defeat it, how can they still do it, right? No, but once they defeat it, all is cut off. And I tell you all the problems that result from that, right? Immediate family kicks in here. Immediate family kicks in here. See, now I'm trying to pull this together for you, brothers and sisters. I don't know if I can do it all today. I know I can't do it all day because there's a lot of stuff I haven't told you yet. I'm trying to put this together for you. That's why this stuff is going on. You say, why is it? No, I'm telling you, it's a plan. It says, Allah is the best of planners. That's why I take out that, so it caused a famine to take hold. And once the famine takes hold, because they kicked them out, all is cut off. So now you got famine going on in America. Because now America's got rid of strategic petroleum reserves, right? There's plans for these UFOs flying around all their installation sites, right? See? They got, they just got kicked out of the Middle East, right? They got to explain how they lost their Air Force. They're going against Iran with Air Force, and all it's going to be wiped out. They can't explain it. They can't tell American people that UFOs, so-called UFOs, took all their Air Force out, that they went against Iran with their bunker busts and all that kind of stuff. They can't tell them that. Say, blame on Russia. But I always told all the impact there, because when they cut off, right, that means Europe is cut off because now they can't get oil. And the only place, only source of oil they got is America. America don't have the oil to give them. If they did, they can't get to the time. They can't fly it over there. They have to take by boat. It takes a while to get there. And by the time, then people freezing everything else, starving. And the thing is, the only source of oil is Russia. So now they got to turn against America. That's the city going to turn against America to get the oil from Russia. So now America is in a battle with Europe and Russia. All the installations are been overrun by the European countries, and now they got to go protect them. So now they definitely can't use oil for anything else but the military. That means you have total famine here in America, total famine. Total famine. So what happens in the famine? What happens their plan to eradicate us when the famine comes in? Just the opposite. Because we the food, they can't get rid of us now. We don't have food that's available. We 3/5 human. There's no food. You better read Injil again. You better study it. Right? It says it in the scripture. Right? Eating us. So the plan backfired now. They can't get rid of us. Eradicate us. Because now we the only food to have. Only food. See what's happening, brothers? So days were cut short. See? For elect's sake. They can't get elect, but you understand what I'm saying here? That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Master Muhammad's plan. So the family kicks in, now they can't eradicate, they can't use that weapon on you because it'd be crazy because now they get rid of their food supply. You don't only the food they got. So now, right, they can't use the weapon on you. Right? So they're going to try to capture each as many as they can without being caught eating themselves, because now you got a demon war. See? Because now you got a war between devils and demons, where devils and demons are just black-faced devils. And they're hungry too. Understand, brothers and sisters? That's Master Muhammad's plan. See? On the left was their plan. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. And then, see the war. See they would have the war in the Middle East after they eradicate us. But now they can't eradicate us because they need us food, right? And they're thrown down, and the war takes place before they attack us. Now they attack us this time, right, to eat us, not to eradicate us. Now they attack us, now they eat us now, not to eradicate us. That's when nation comes together, tribulation, all that stuff, right? But they can't use that weapon. It's designed to eradicate you. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And this is where they tell you to flee, because now you see falls to Israel or Jerusalem surrounded by armies. Now you got to flee. That's going on, brothers and sisters. And false Israel was taken out. It's on the right here, right? It says now you got all political turmoil going on in America. You got religious turmoil because now we identify a true Savior, because false Israel taking that can't happen. Plus they were supposed to go back to Great Arabia, between the Euphrates and the Nile River. That was Arabia. Never got there. And once they planted, it would never be uprooted again, but they got destroyed. So now they can't hide the fact that we're too Abraham at that point. Talking about the right over here, right? Syria reigned in total control of the Middle East. American British cast down. The book of 7,000, the church is right. That's been elaborated on or revealed by Suleiman because he couldn't get the prophets to do it. So now, because he got to prepare that, because that's what they're going to need to get through the tribulation. So they washed their blood, their robes in the blood of the Lamb. That's the blood of the Lamb. That's what's supposed to represent the blood of the Lamb. Understand, brothers and sisters. That's going on here. That's their plan right now. Any day, that's their plan to wipe you out. And I told them openly. Just don't mention that it's you, the target. Because if Europeans go, why would Europeans develop a DNA weapon that's going to kill Europeans? It's going to kill them too, would it? How does that work? No. Target for you. You understand, brothers and sisters? I think. Let me see if I got anything else here. I think I'm pretty much going to call it quick, brothers and sisters. I might talk about a couple of things here. See, they stripped us naked. We've been on the cross for 500 years, nearly 500 years. They took everything from us. And now they plan on eradicating us altogether. They hate you from the beginning to the end. They hate you all the way now. They hate you at the beginning. They constantly hate you forever. Oh, man. No, he's kissing on him and loving him. Because you're one of them. He's one of them. His father's the devil. Took everything from his bones. I've talked about that quite a bit. And the battle for Zion. This is all about, brothers and sisters. Cut him off from being a nation. Name of Israel be remembered no more. Zion. Said 104,000 man stood on Mount Zion. And Zion backwards, NOI. That's our land, brothers and sisters. We got to battle for it. We're battling for it now. You got to battle just to get out of here and get through the exit doors. And you got to have, the angel, or you got to have one of those knowledgeable ones. Thorough knowledge of one of those 3 books. Then we have enough power, right, to go over and take our land back. You could take it back to where you are right now, brothers and sisters. But I said, brothers and sisters, they're about to get there. I'm putting those vibes out, brothers and sisters. Pretty soon it'll be enough. Lift them up. Battle for Zion. It's all about, brothers and sisters, going back home. It's my job to get you back home. Once I get back home, brothers and sisters, stable, back home, sisters protected, elevated, right? I'm out of here. You don't see me no more. I ain't looking for any rewards or anything. I could get it if I wanted that. That's not me. I want to get you home, brothers and sisters. Nobody seemed to want to do it, but me, so I'm doing it. Everybody wants reward, but they don't want to put their effort in. And the reward that you need to be a top dog, you have to. My effort you're putting in, I don't see anybody coming even close. I don't know if anybody would be willing to go to 30 years of what I went through. Because they were like, oh man, I ain't got no followers or nothing. See, that would bother them, don't bother me. I guess that's why you pick somebody as a hermit. Because they know they'd be a hermit, they'd be alone for about 30 years, and most people can't take that. Don't bother me. I prefer it that way. Alpha Zion, brothers and sisters, we're going home. Let's walk this quickly, brothers and sisters. Like I said, it starts off with the eagle, the hawk, an eagle. Hawk represents ship, eagle, right? And, right? That starts off it. That's what the angel says. They don't have to get the sequence. First of all, nobody's telling about these wars. According to Farrakhan, Armageddon. Armageddon's already started. You got that wrong. It's Armageddon. H-A-R-Mageddon. Already started. Well, it is. How come bombs? There should be troop movements, right? Not some old regional war in Ukraine. So if it's already going, I mean, we should expect a nuclear bomb. Ain't they now, right? Because he'll know what they're talking about. So that's the first battle. That's the opening shot. That starts off the apocalypse. Matter of fact, it starts with war heavies. Begins it. And then once the hawk defeats the eagles, then you got the eagles versus the eagles. You got the vulture there, because you got two aspects of Armageddon: Armageddon East, Armageddon West. Armageddon West between the demons and the devils. Armageddon East is between devils and devils. As you got to right now, devils and devils at it. Well, you got devils and demons. It's gonna be a serious war. 17 million strong. Everybody's pitching in from birth to 9 years old, because if you're caught, you're eaten. Total commitment. So, dragon, let's back to Samson. Okay, that's the vulture. The demons. So it's pretty, still Europeans, right? Europeans fighting Europeans over here, Europeans fighting Europeans over here. So the war. On that level. And this weakens all of them. They're weak. They stumble from being a world power. That's the dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns, and the crowns on his heads. Then it was a beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns, and the crowns on his horns. That's what happens. They tear each other apart. And so now China and India emerges as the next world powers. And so while they're being distracted and wound each other, that gives the goat, that's China, India, right? Attack orders. I'm not going to details that, but chapter 17 says, right, there's Master Muhammad getting their minds to attack America. Why? How does he do it? Well, I may speak to it, right? Because China and India is also totally dependent on Middle East oil. They can't wage war or anything else without it. Who has control of it? Master Muhammad in Shia. So if you want to continue getting oil, you have to, as I say, you got to go and attack America. It says that God put in their spirit to go and do it. They didn't just do it. They said it would come with anger. Go come with anger after the ram. That's happening here, brothers and sisters. And the bear would be alongside. That's another story altogether, brothers. Excuse me. He's just mad, brothers and sisters, because you see India and China can come to America with their feet not touching land. Or Pacific Ocean come over core Earth, Pacific Ocean. Right? They come without feet touching land. And it said the ram will come from, the goat will come from the west, the ram will come from the east. 2 world powers, Britain and America. Everybody can stand against them. And they will meet somewhere in the middle of America. America's in between Europe and Asia.